everyone, Defcamp here, and welcome to DefTalk episode number 30. This is the talk show that focuses on everything World of Warcraft, whether it's classic, retail, or the players that play. I, of course, am Defcamp. We have with us my brother, Melderon. Say hello, Melderon.
Hello, everyone.
And we actually have with us another pair of brothers, believe it or not, who are classic WoW enthusiasts and are just all-around awesome guys. We have with us Chris and Jeff. They are known as the Merrill brothers. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, we're doing great today, and we're so happy to be with you guys.
Hell yeah, dude! Having another brother duo here is awesome. I'm so excited to talk about you guys' experiences. If you guys ever fought over, let me play. Melderon and I used to fight over the computer all the time, so I'm really interested to hear some of the stories you guys have. And thanks again for just coming out on the show, man. I'm really glad to have you guys on here.
Oh, thanks for having us.
All right, so let's just get started. And how did you guys? So I'll start with you, Jeff. How did you guys get introduced to WoW, and what was the whole, what brought you to WoW, and when did you start playing?
Okay, so definitely it started before World of Warcraft. It was my older brother. I'd say we'd have to give all the credit to him because anything the older brother does is always cool, right?
Yeah.
So he basically started playing, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, the old school Diablo games. This is when we only had one computer. So whenever he was done gaming, Chris and I would literally I'd control the keyboard and he'd control the mouse. We were just trying to split up all that time. So we were just messing around on Warcraft 2, making custom games, just flooding the map with dragons and be like, see if you can beat it with this griffin that we've buffed the stats on. And then it translated into Warcraft 3, and then, of course, in 2004, World of Warcraft.
Wow, so you guys were there pretty early on in Classic WoW.
Yeah, I'd say we came in probably right after the first patch where they took the Upper Blackrock Spire from a 15-man to 10-man.
Oh, wow. Wow, that is awesome. So
right after that.
That is so cool. So you guys, so let me get a little more. I'm just saying. So your older brother introduced you. Now I myself, I'm the youngest. Melderon's the oldest. So there's just two of us. So yeah, Jeff, I'm guessing you're the middle, and Chris, are you the youngest as well? So out of the whole family, or?
Yeah, I'm definitely the baby in this one. So
okay,
I definitely look to them playing the game, playing all the awesome Blizzard games.
So I spent a lot of time just watching Melderon play, and And honestly, before WoW came out, when
that's why Defcamp's so good, by the way, guys. He was watching me the whole time.
Yeah. That's why. Yeah, right, dude. I am. I think I've surpassed you, Melderon.
I was gonna say, Melderon. I get my ass like Chris.
No, he's definitely the better player technically. Yeah, when it comes to technical play style, he definitely is. But real quick, I want to interject before we get into this. Guys, This is a very special podcast. At the end, they're actually going to read us a short story that they wrote for us. So stick around for the whole thing, or just if you really want to listen to the story now, skip to the end. So sorry, Defcamp, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I wanted to get the aspect of how you guys played together. So it sounds really cool. You guys actually were able to play together. Melderon and I, that was not the case. He had his characters, I had mine. I was playing Alliance at the time. He was playing Horde, and we literally would argue and fight over who could get to the computer. And if he was playing too long, I'd be sitting there bugging him, asking him okay, when are you leaving, dude? Let's go. So, and growing up, it was the same thing. We were playing on the computer a lot. And I spent just so much time watching him play. But I got to say, that really connected our relationship a lot in gaming. Gaming for us was something that we always did together, whether it was just me or watching him. And when we got older and he moved away, it was something that really kept us together, whether he was we were playing WoW together or we were playing something else together online. And it was just something that really kept us together throughout all the years. So is that how you guys kind of have that aspect as well too? Do you guys play together a lot, or you guys kind of fight a little bit here and there trying to?
Yeah, absolutely. So our oldest brother Michael was the only one with the account first, and so he got it during 2004 Christmas, and we saw him playing over his shoulder, and of course it was lagging and the servers were crashing, but other than that, it was awesome. But soon after that, my brother Jeff and I both got our own accounts, and
that's when, of course, we made Night Elf Hunters and Rogues.
Nice, nice.
I'm pretty sure we like convinced our parents, specifically my father, that like his work laptop was not working anymore, and like we used that as like our second PC to play with.
That's
So
smart.
we could
That's
have,
smart.
literally, I mean, I remember running home from school, and like Chris and I would sprint off the bus, and I would like kick his feet out from underneath him. So I get to the house first, and then we both like swam into the computer desk and be like, "I was here first. I'm logging in."
Wow, it sounds very familiar.
I mean, it was crazy. So it was definitely very pertinent that we got another computer so we could play together.
Yeah, we actually shared a computer at first and an account. So
Shh, don't tell Blizzard that.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, come on, we're brothers. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure so many brothers did that as well.
Oh, of course.
And I mean, I'm sure like it's different when you're brothers or if you're like, you and somebody else. But we didn't have the money at that time. I was 16, 17. Was working a little bit here and there. My brother's 5 years older than me, so I'm pretty sure was paying for the account and everything at that time. But once I finally got my own laptop,
pretty sure, or are you 100% sure?
I'm pretty sure. Maybe I get a little bit here and there, but once I got my own laptop, we literally had it set up that, so say this is the desktop that we're sitting at. He would sit here, and I would literally pull up a chair right next to him and have my laptop there right next to him. So everything he did, we were just right next to each other, and it was so funny because people would come down and see us just sitting there. Two brothers sitting there playing WoW for hours on end. But before we had separate computers, let me tell you, we got into some epic fights. I mean, there was a time where Melderon threw scissors at my face.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we don't have to. Okay.
It wasn't all over WoW. Like I wouldn't say like all fights are over WoW. Brothers fight, right? But then 2 minutes later, like we'd literally be joking again. You know what I mean? So it's like. We might get into an argument or whatever, but like 2 minutes later, and that's how it is.
Yeah. So what about the game really got you guys to immerse yourself into it and bond? And was there bonding? Did you guys start to have these experiences together that you really shared and enjoyed?
So yeah, we were just leveling up together in Teldrassil at first.
Yeah.
And one of those classic WoW like I'm a noob moments happened to us, and I thought it was pretty memorable. So both my brothers were hunters, and they got to level 10.
I'm sorry, we were Night Elf hunters.
Oh,
they got a
were you female? Were you female though? That's the big question.
No, we were male.
Okay,
male.
you guys are fine. Yeah,
you
guys are fine.
We didn't start gender bending until later.
Yeah. Okay.
But so they were getting their lightsabers and their owls, and I was a rogue at the time, and I just assumed that I was going to get an awesome lightsaber too. But then after going to the stable masters and all that, I realized I couldn't get my own pet, and I was pretty bummed out.
Oh,
yeah. That's one of the first memories that comes to mind.
Yep.
Yeah, that's as much as you played beforehand, like I mean, you guys, like I said, played pretty early on. There's a lot of noobish moments we had, and luckily, Melderon and I, we experienced a lot of it together, so we learned a lot together as well. But there were some things that he would find out and like tell me, but for the most part, we were just completely thrown into this world, didn't have any idea what to do, and we had a lot of noobish moments like that. I played a rogue too. Night Elf Rogue was my first character as well, so yeah, I loved it. I really did. And it's just really cool that you guys were able to play together in that way, because we weren't able to play together in that way until later. Like I said, I played Alliance first. He played Horde first. So we really kind of didn't get to play together until I got that laptop. So it sounds like did you guys always play together? Did you only play when you guys were together? Did you play like on your own sometimes?
I'd say we pretty much played together, but I would say that the vast majority of us playing together would be us like hunkered down in the basement hearing our father's footsteps like over us at 11 or 12 and be like, oh shit, he's gonna catch us playing. And we'd be like, and then so that was like the majority of our time was just in the basement. We were living in DC, Virginia at the time, I believe, and we were just what's high school?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I just finished college, and thank God I did, because my God, I would have failed. I would have been done.
Yeah, Melderon was a little bit older. How old were you when you first started playing? WoW was it?
20. Wait, let me think.
22-ish, right?
No. So yeah, when you start college, I start college around 21, 22. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I was a little bit older. Yeah, I was
about 17. Yeah.
Yeah, I was already legally able to drink and stuff when I started playing WoW. So it was. I'm an old head, but so did you guys get into like any? So how was the leveling experience for you? What did you guys get into? How was the questing experience? What do you remember from that? Did you involve yourself into any role playing or anything like that?
Actually, yeah, that's something where, at least for me, my perspective has totally changed. I wasn't very into role playing when I first started leveling up. I'm not gonna lie, I was just trying to stay alive and like just in that next level. I didn't really know what my goal was, and honestly, I really missed that. That's a great feeling. I know I won't get it back, but knowing that, it's made me embrace like the role playing aspect of the game so much more, because I also played at a pretty high rating level for a while too. But just being like married with a kid and getting a job and going back to school, I love getting into the role playing aspect now, because it's just like a way to totally immerse myself in the world and like kind of pull myself away from like the day to day routines.
Sure.
And to me, like, I can't play for 10 hours, at 10 o'clock at night anymore. No. I can't do that. So, but I can play for a few hours in the evening, and I really enjoy just getting into the role playing aspect of it now. And I think I'm even more so embracing that. I don't know about Chris.
Oh, well, back in the day, we used to do like dungeons together. That was my favorite part, because you had to fight your 5 friends or your 4 other friends, and you're going in there getting that sweet loot. But in vanilla, we used to raid together. We joined the same guild. Nice. So we started with Molten Core, worked our way to Soul Grub.
Yeah, wow.
Blackwing Lair.
There's certain moments I'll just never forget. I remember the first boss in Molten Core, or maybe it's the second boss, Magmadar.
Oh yeah.
I could tell you where exactly we were, and I could tell you the song that Chris and I were both listening to. It was SOS by Rihanna. It was like, someone help me. Like the dog, we're like, yeah, man.
That's awesome.
It's just crazy that I can remember that. So, like, yeah, raiding was fantastic. We had a great raid leader. Do you guys remember when those little microphone sticks were popular? You just press the button and they'd record.
Yes.
Yeah. They were popular for a while. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we got one for like Christmas that year. And our raid leader, we were doing Molten Core. I think we were about to kill Ragnaros for the first time, so it was pretty hype. Anyways, he stepped on like a Lego that his kid left on the floor, and he was like, "Oh, I stepped on a Lego and it was sharp and stuff." For whatever reason, Chris was recording with the little microphone thing, like right next to the mic, and we just kept playing it over and over and over. It became like that first meme thing of
this is the shit brothers only get. Like stuff
I know,
like that.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, so yeah. Sorry, I was digressing there a little.
No, it's good. Stories are good. This is great.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really love it. Some of you guys really enjoy the leveling process and leveling experience.
So I have a question.
One of the things.
So go ahead, Defcamp. Yeah.
No. I just want to say one of the things we talked about was becoming immersed in the leveling experience, and like you talked about, doing things that you haven't done before yet in the game, like trying new classes, new factions, new ways of playing the game. Is that something that you plan on doing too, Chris? Like, do you plan on trying to role play or trying anything new that you didn't get to do around the first time around?
Yeah, definitely. So kind of like my brother earlier on, I wasn't really too much into the whole role playing. I was just kind of leveling and figuring out the world. But later, when I created a character in Legion, I started looking up like D&D character building, and they ask you all these cool questions like, who were your parents, and yada yada yada. So I actually had a really fun time, creating a character story for like my Blood Elf Paladin, and she was like a scryer. Like I said, I did some gender bending in Legion. So.
Nice.
It's okay, I did it too, but I changed her back as a male.
Yeah, so it was really fun because you got to come up. It just gave you that much more connection to your character, and I'm really looking forward to Classic WoW. Getting more into the character and trying to come up with different stories, and hopefully we'll see those characters in Jeff's diary.
Nice.
I just want to add on a little bit to like the whole level immersion. I've actually really thought down and thought about some ways that I can make that experience more. I guess I feel like now is an appropriate time to share that.
Yeah.
So one thing I've decided I'm going to do, I don't know if it's completely original, but I have this really like kind of cool looking tome, if you will, and it's all leather back and it's got, no lines. And of course I'm going to have like quill pin that's from like the original, Warcraft 2 and 3 when they're writing the quest out.
Yeah.
So basically I'm going to play for my 1 or 2 hours every night and then record in a dramatized fashion, of course, like what happened to me during that day. So like my log, basically, as if I were an adventurer coming to, North America the first time. Lewis and Clark, they all had logs, and they wrote down every day everything that they did. I'm gonna, make myself a log of my journeys.
What an amazing way to experience the game. Sorry to interject, but that's
cool.
really, really cool. Yeah.
And I hope something I can like share with my daughter who's 2 years old right now. I hope I can share that with her when she starts farming gold for me in a couple years here.
Oh, dude, you got to put them to work. Absolutely.
Got to put them to work. Yeah.
Get
I think that's a
young.
great idea. Like, I would love to, like, I had so many experiences in vanilla that I wish, we talked about it on our last DefTalk where I had this epic, like, Braveheart moment, where it was like 3.5 raid groups of the Alliance raiding Orgrimmar, and there's so many like things that I remember of it, but I know there's so many little things that I forget, and like imagine if I had like a little illustration, like the two armies coming together with the gates of Orgrimmar behind them and things like that. I think that would add so much, it would just add so much more to that experience that I do remember, but I wish I remembered some of those little things that really made that experience amazing,
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea, man.
Thanks. And then also, I'm taking it even another step further here, but, hopefully you guys can bear with me. So I got this cookbook that's by Chelsea Monroe Castle. I think you guys maybe have seen it before. Maybe
it's on my list. Yeah, definitely.
So instead of eating like Doritos and stuff that's going to give me a heart attack here in 5 years, I'm almost 30. Like I would, I'm going to eat healthy WoW foods that are authentic to my World of Warcraft Azeroth experience.
Some light fin soup, some bear tartar. Yeah.
And honestly, that adds to the ambiance of everything. And that's another one of my points. Like, we kind of have this little setup back here. Imagine, like, going into Stragglethorn Vale, and instead of playing, like, in your living room or somewhere that there's a lot of distractions, you have your own little cubby or your office, and you plop down 2 plants right on your desk in front of you, and then when you're questing in Stragglethorn Vale, you not only you surrounded by plants in the game, but you got freaking plants now on your desk.
Yeah.
Or maybe when you go into like a castle, you light Castlevania wax candles on your desk, and you watch those burn while you're
like for SFK or something. But like, but I'm thinking in your Stranglethorn, in your Stranglethorn example, you also got to have like all on the watchtower playing in the background and platoon and have like the face paint and a helmet.
Those helmet monkeys you get that wrap around your neck at the amusement parks and you get one of those. Take it off. The possibilities are limitless or endless, whatever have you. But the thing is, I think people will overlook how much that'll actually add to your experience.
And hell yeah.
And your friends can come down and make fun of you or whatever, but I think like it's something you'll never regret and you'll
absolutely
really enjoy. And like I said, you can just, the possibilities are endless. You can just take it as far as you want to go.
That's really wow.
That's so cool. That's a really, really cool idea, and I can just imagine like you doing that, even like as a streamer or someone like that, where you're playing and other people watching you, and say like Melderon has said, you have your helmet on while you're in Stranglethorn Vale, and you have stuff like that.
Yeah, like a pack of soft pack of cigarettes on the thing,
like that rolled up in your sleeve or something like that, and the face paint. I think that would just add a whole nother layer of immersion, and when you're in a moment that is memorable, right? a lot of times you remember your surroundings. The surroundings sometimes is one of the biggest aspect of what you remember and everything.
So, you guys played on a PvP server, correct? When you guys started?
Actually, I think we were on an
It was a
PvE
PvE.
server.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Did you guys ever play PvP on PvP together?
As soon as BC came out.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. So I got a question. Have you guys like had each other's backs? Like say the one brother got into a skirmish, did you like go help the other one, and did it happen a lot?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely part of being brothers and playing World of Warcraft. Even in like different games like Halo and everything, you have that kind of brotherly senses. You don't even really need to like say anything out loud. You kind of know where each other are at, and so definitely in PvP, like if he's getting ganked, I'm about to come over there on my paladin, and stun them with my hammer of justice.
Nice.
I remember like, or just to kind of compare it to, is like the brotherly like instinctual intuition thing. So I was telling Melderon that we played ice hockey on the same team for 3 years during high school. I would pass the puck without looking, and my brother would be there, kind of thing.
Yep.
So like, and if someone hit him or someone hit me,
it's over, Johnny.
Like,
it's over.
Like Mighty Ducks 3, those guys were getting like, messed up.
Yeah.
So it was the same way in Classic, especially in Blackrock Mountain. I mean, I can't explain to you, like, my brother, how he would just be able to walk all the shortcuts and walk around on the chains and hop up on the top, and like he would just own that place. And if anyone ever messed with me, man, the Rep Valley hammer came down hard on them.
That's the same thing. The other day we were playing. So it didn't happen as much in vanilla because, like I said, I was playing Alliance, he was playing Horde. But afterwards, and when I have my Shadow Priest and things like that the other day, so like when we're playing on prod service things, it's really cool because I know his play style. So I know what he's going to do, and I'm sure he knows a little I'm going to do. So like he'll go out there, start casting, chain lightning bolt. And I know that druid or whatever it is about to go run over and try to heal. So he'll do what he's got to do. I go over, fear him back into him. As soon as he starts healing, silence him and then let Melderon finish him off. Like we're really good at knowing like his play style. He knows I know his abilities. He knows mine.
It's a one-up.
It really is. It really is. Like we could honestly, like if we were playing, probably. We work on him more. He's getting better as a PvP player. I feel like Melderon is a lot because you were more PvE orientated.
Definitely, yeah.
I was a lot more PvP orientated, especially in vanilla VC, and we're really getting to like play better as a duo because it's so much fun. Like we could be the best 2v2 team like out there, man. It would be awesome.
Yeah,
kick some ass, especially as a Shadow Priest Elemental Shaman. That was a deadly combination.
Okay. And then growing up playing right next to each other, it's just like, oh, we just won that arena. High five.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's always
Yeah.
But on the flip side of it too, when we did arena, we also used to yell at each other all the time too. Like, what did you do? Why didn't you silence? Or whatever. You missed that silence, or you didn't do this, or
right. But that's anyone too.
My son, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I remember it was really late, like when we were playing in the basement, and I chained together probably like 50 cuss words in a row, and they didn't make any sense. They were just nasty words, and I was talking to Chris.
Yeah.
He looks down. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he's like, "I can't believe I just heard that. It's 1 a.m. Are you guys at school?" He just didn't know what to say, and I was just like, "I'm sorry, I lost myself," and I just went to bed.
Yeah, this game will make you do that. It'll make you flip out sometimes.
Yeah, we've it's happened before. I mean, especially like. Not so much on each other, but on, I remember one instance, and I know Melderon knows exactly what I'm thinking about, that happened in Wrath of the Lich King, but we won't get too much into that. But yeah, I mean, when you're investing that much time into anything, and someone hinders that time or makes it so that you have to put even more time in or something like that, it's going to piss you off, But then sometimes, like, Melderon and I have a great way of dealing with people that sometimes, like, when something happens, we'll just say the most random things. Like some of the stuff you were saying.
Oh, so last night there's this place in Thousand Needles. It's in the Shimmering Flats.
Yeah.
And there's a quest where you have to get vulture bones. they're very rare, and they don't. There's not many of them.
Yeah.
There's not many of them around. So there's this place with bones where 3 of them spawn, and they only spawn in threes, and they spawn every like 10 minutes. So we were there. We just were trying to knock out the quests, and we were there first. Not trying to be a pain, but this hunter comes along, and it's a free for all, right? So whoever gets the first tag gets it. So
I'm a shaman.
He's a shaman. I'm a warrior, and he has the instant cast shock. So he's like, we're getting all the tags, and this guy flips out like after the second or third time, and he whispered me all this horrible things like, and my response was like, hey, did you ever see the movie Gladiator? And then like he'll just be like F you, and I'm like, it's a really good movie, you should check it out. Russell Crowe did a really good job. And then you just keep going on, and then they get madder and madder and madder. It's that's my way of dealing with it. I'm like, I'm not gonna like get in a pissing match with someone over vultures, but but try it sometimes. If everyone's ever getting on your nerves, like whispering you nonstop, just literally say nothing but like random stuff to them.
Random nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a good way of just like kind of bringing it down a notch on your end, and also kind of getting them pissed off.
Yeah, because it eventually just makes them stop because they realize you're not going to give in, and But anyway, that's just something funny. But you guys were talking during the break. We just took a little break. You guys were talking about add-ons. What was it specifically about add-ons you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, so we were talking about becoming immersed in the classic WoW experience, and I know that on certain private servers and whatnot, people have add-ons like Questy and Quest Helper type add-ons where there's just like an arrow, guiding you to this.
Literally,
quest.
yeah.
You don't even really have to read the quest and engage in the quests that you're doing. So I don't know. I like to keep my UI and my add-ons very basic because that way you can really naturally engage with the quests and like follow the story, because it's really easy to get off track, to really just kind of breeze through it and go autopilot mode when you have those add-ons like Questy.
Yeah, like have you ever finished a zone and been like, what did I do in that zone?
Exactly.
Like, every zone is actually designed to have a pretty great story.
You're absolutely right. And the lore in the
read the quest, and you'll be like, oh, wow, I helped defeat the Defias Brotherhood, and they're intermixed with the Stormwind Stockade and
Onyxia, and it's like,
it's like, it's all making sense now. I just didn't kill 12 wolves for no reason or whatever.
Exactly.
It's like, it brings so much more satisfaction to your experience. It really does. It's worth the extra time to read the quest than to just be like, oh no, I'm going to save 30 seconds and not read it. Do that on your second or third time playing through.
Exactly.
Right.
On your first time, we're getting Classic back. What a blessing. Let's just do it really good the first time, and then power level and do all this.
Yeah. Right, because there's no cutscenes in Classic, right? There's no really voice actor or anything like that. So everything is within the quests, and there's even little cool things like you go to Tarren Mill, and there's that book on the floor. That you can. I don't know if you guys. This is a little book on the floor, and they have them like an understanding everywhere else. You can open the book and start reading the story about lore, about War of the Ancients, or when the Scourge were invading Lordaeron. All these like little cool stories that are within the game, and all these little cool quests that have these little side stories, like, I always bring up like the In Dreams quest line, like one of the best quest lines, I think, with Tyrion Forge Ring and all that. And there's like everything is in the quest, and I did it. I'm guilty of it, especially when I was younger. I would just skip through the quests, and I would go on like Thoughtbot. I used to use Thoughtbot all the time and type in Thoughtbot, where is this, where's that? And then as I got older and started to appreciate just how good the writing was and the story was and the lore and noticing my place in the world and my actions and what I just did and things like that, because like you said, you can go through a whole zone like, why did I just kill these things? Why is there Naga working together with these people? I'm like, why is this going on? And like, you think about it, and none of it makes sense like until you read the quests, and it all fits together so nicely and so well, and it's like this aha moment that you get, you know what I mean? And I love that about Classic WoW, because you have to do it yourself, but when you do, you're rewarded so much, and that's what I love about Classic. You put the time and effort in, and you are rewarded.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And then, one of the things that's different from Classic WoW than some of the newer ones like Wrath of the Lich King and beyond, a lot of the storylines have become like super dramatic, especially with Legion, where everyone's running around with artifact weapons and backbreakers. So I mean, that's just a little ridiculous. But in Classic WoW, you're just like this adventurer, and that's where you can get into those things like character building, and it makes more sense for you to just be, some random human guy from Stormwind, on his own path, and it feels more real and
Absolutely.
for you to be going in, stopping the Defiance Brotherhood, and I don't know, I just really like that aspect of Classic WoW, and I think that some of those add-ons like Questy and Quest Helper, they can really distract from that, and you're just going to glance over it and not even read the quests. You have to kind of read the quests to at least know where you're going on the map.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I kind of decided that on my shaman, when I create my shaman on the new when Classic comes out, what I'm going to do is I've gotten it'll probably be 4 or 5 characters by Classic's launch to 60 on private servers. So that's a lot, and I have experienced as much of the end game as I should have. But but at the same time, this time through on Classic, when I create my shaman, I'm taking my time. I'm not rushing through it. I'm not getting the molten core as fast as I can. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna go into as many areas as I can, do as many quests as I can, do all the dungeons, every single one of them. Probably not the American, but that's just because it's a pain in the ass. But most of them, and I'm just going to relax. I'm going to level Elemental, and trust me, I've done a lot of Shaman work. Elemental pretty much is very slow during the first 30 to 40 levels.
Really slow.
But I'm still doing it because I just want to do the class fantasy. I want to immerse myself into the world, and I want to immerse myself into my character and build that character up, almost like Dungeons and Dragons, like have a backstory. So it's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. One other thing, I think an important thing to realize is, because I've told myself I'm going to slow down and level my character and really read through all the quests, and then I don't do it. And I realized I kept thinking about why wasn't I doing it? Well, World of Warcraft's a community game. You're always playing with your brothers or your friends, and I mean, you guys have so many friends on WoW. You must have so many people that want to play with you. And so what I'm saying is, you start a character with somebody, and then they get ahead of you.
Yeah.
And then it just falls apart because you're like, now I got to play by myself and catch up to him.
Yeah.
So what's important, if you want to really stay true to one character and just level him slow, sign a waiver, a pact saying, I will only play this character with this person.
That's what
we do. Yeah.
Completely another character. Like, hey, this guy, don't really care what he does. He's going to play with 10 people, and he can kind of level how he wants to. But I think if you do that, you make the multiple characters, it'll put you in a lot better spot than just having one character, because if you just have one character, that's the only character you can play.
Exactly.
We do exactly that.
It's like, it took me forever to realize that. That's why I was rushing. I just was so committed to this one guy, and I had to play with everybody.
It took us a while too. I mean, like I would have, I like to level my first character pretty quick. Like, so I would get my priest up, and Melderon's taking his time, and I'm like, dude, let's do something together. And I'm like, oh, you're 28 levels lower than me, this, that, and other. And then what we started to do is like, okay, I'm going to make someone, you make someone, and we literally only play when we're together. That's it. Like, I'm a little bit ahead of him because of my class quests and stuff like that. But the really cool thing about that too is, like, so I have my main, I have my 60, I have another higher level, and then we have our, our mid, he's level like 30 something now, the shaman and the warrior and we've done this before with Super Plate Brothers, and of course before that. And it was really cool though, is like, when we play together, we actually do, like, we read through the quest, like, we know what we're doing, we explain the story. Melderon knows a lot of things about certain areas and certain things. I know certain things about certain areas, and like we went this time to like Stonetown Mountains, which we never really quested in. We got to experience the Stonetown Mountains and like all these, like, we're talking about these cool art assets and all these cool things. So we got to experience that together, and it's really cool because the characters, we don't play them for a little bit, so we slept up, and we like leveled them relatively quick because all that sleep time, we're just killing stuff, we're PvPing together. It's like a great experience when you only play that character
Yeah.
with that person.
And our rule when we
so
play
much
together
fun.
is like we engage in every single PvP encounter we can, unless it's like the guy's 60, we're not going to charge him, right? So if basically it's like, oh, if the guy is within honor range, we're not going to gank lobies, but if they provide honor, we just like engage. I don't care because we want to like try to get better PvP number. Well, for me, I mean, Defcamp's a very seasoned PvP player. I'm not, so it's more like because I feel like you'll lose every PvP encounter that you don't engage yourself in, right? Pretty much. So if you just let someone open up on you, you just sit there and die. Okay, you're still gonna die, right? You might as well try to fight them. So that's the way I look at it. And
in the most part, we try to honor the 1v1 as well. So if Melderon charges someone, I'll sit there and if he dies, I'll res him. You know what I mean? And, nod to the guy and let him know that we're just doing a 1v1. But if sometimes if the guy's like 6 levels higher, then maybe we'll team up on him, something like that. Right. But for the most part, we do like a 1-to-1. But so I'm really interested. Like, what are your guys' goals? Like when the classic comes out, like what are the main things that you guys are planning on doing?
So as much as we've been really harping on how the role playing thing is going to be a huge thing and taking our time, I stand by that. Okay. But second priority, I did not finish Blackwing Lair when Vanilla was out. We did get the Ragnaros kill, but we did not clear Blackwing Lair. And I will be damned if I don't clear Blackwing Lair this time around. And I honestly want to do Nax Ramus too.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
It makes me wonder how accessible things like Nax will be. I think.
Yeah.
It will be more accessible than it was vanilla, obviously, but
I'm talking about compared to private servers. Do you think it's going to be less? I don't know. It's because right now,
honestly, not many people do it on private servers.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just my aspiration.
Oh yeah, I'm wholly with you. I would love to do it as well. I'm just trying to think how.
And it's great as well to have those goals because it really motivates you, right? And like the thing that's so amazing about vanilla and when it was out, and I only walked into 2 raids, Montcore and ZG. Everything else to me was a mystery, and I really focused a lot on PvP in my vanilla experience, but it was still like, oh my god, there's guys out there who are doing Nax, and then the AQ event, I went there and I dealt the AQ event a little bit, but I never walked into raid, and I never really had a good guild that was a raiding guild, and it was just really cool knowing that there was people out there doing things that I haven't done, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to do this, I never got to do it then, but it made the world feel so alive, and it made it feel like, oh, I'm like, oh, what is this place next? I was like people were talking about this when it was about to come out. I remember when it came out, it was this huge thing. Everyone was talking about it, and I never even really knew anything about it other than what I heard, and it just makes the game feel so alive. And I think it's good that not everyone does Nax and not everyone does every raid, and some people only do the leveling process. Some people only get to do whatever level some alts. I think it's really good for the player base and for the feel of the game that there is a lot of mystery, and then there's this high end thing that's out there that not everyone can do. I really think it's a good thing for the game.
Definitely, I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. So for me, some of my goals is, we didn't get to do Blackwing Lair, so that's definitely up there for me. But some of the things, to be honest, I just want to recreate some of the experiences I had in Vanilla WoW. And one of the things I love to do was go out in front of Ironforge, and for Horde it's probably Ogremar, but I love being that Dual King, challenging all the hardcore people out there, people that were Grand Marshals. Even though I didn't ever put in the time in to get Grand Marshal, I always thought it was really fun challenging some of the most badass warriors on the server.
I will not be doing that.
Neither will I. I think the older brothers here are the less PvP oriented ones. It's pretty funny.
I just thought of another really I love that question that you brought up, Defcamp, because it's just now I'm just realizing, I have so many more goals than I at this point I actually think I'm gonna put above 1 and 2, which is crazy. But my dad was so against World of Warcraft and video games my entire life growing up, and I feel like now that I'm relatively accomplished and hopefully made him somewhat proud, kind of thing. Like, can I just convince him that World of Warcraft is a passion of mine, and I'd really like to share it with him? Like, I want to extend my World of Warcraft experience with my father, with my wife, with my cousins that were young when I was playing, but now they're older and they could appreciate a game like that. Like I was saying with my generation, my daughter, like, cool. Like, if I can be a guild leader and I have my family in the guild with me, that's awesome.
That would be amazing.
One of my top priorities would be to get other people other than just to play classic WoW into classic WoW. Broaden that things. Obviously there's a little bit that goes into that. You gotta make sure you got your life squared away before you can influence those people like that. But because I did play probably too much growing up, so
I think we did too.
It's definitely something I would approach differently.
Yeah, if someone actually tabulated how many hours I put into this game, I'd probably throw up.
Yeah, you don't want to know. There was a year in my life that I explained it a couple other times to people. Like I'm myself in recovery, as an ex opiate user, and the first time I went to rehab, I had about a year of time that I did absolutely nothing but play WoW. I would wake up, I would play WoW until the time I went to bed, and I would do it all over again. And like, I definitely played, but that kept me out of trouble for a year. It honestly did. And WoW kept me out of trouble for a long time as well. I mean, yeah, I did get back into trouble a couple times, but WoW was always there for me when I was in my darkest times. And, playing it with my brother, having that experience, playing it with meeting people when I was like in a really dark place, and having people, make me laugh and do all these cool things. Like WoW is more than just a game. It is such an amazing experience,
Really hoping I can get my wife to play with me, because like she's my life partner, and I really want to do games that I enjoy so much. I took up ballroom dancing recently for her, so I feel like I deserve it.
Wow.
Oh, you definitely deserve it.
That's a good trade.
Wow.
That's a really good trade.
How many hours? You got to think. Yeah. How long was the course? Was it multiple hours, or was it like just one time? Or
ballroom, I'm still doing it, and it's like we sign up for 3 months each time. So
you got her now. Yeah, you got to have her.
2 or 3 times a week. So.
And all you got to do is introduce her, and the game will do the rest. The game will do the rest.
You can get up on the auction house and shake that thing.
Yes, you
absolutely.
can. That's absolutely right. Yep, that's so funny.
I have an interesting question. So you guys have goals and aspirations. What do you want to do differently than what you did in Vanilla WoW?
Good question.
What do we want to do differently?
Maybe roll board, maybe.
Yeah, so I think I've been playing Horde for a lot of retail after.
I see. Yeah.
Or something like that. So that's why I'm like going back to my roots for classic.
Got it.
But once I like maybe get the leveling experience out of the way, depending on what's going on, I love to roll Horde and just get that experience, because I only got to like level 30 or something like that in vanilla leveling, and like
it's a whole other world, man.
And and we were talking about how making World of Warcraft this a new experience of exploration. Well, everyone just seems like they want to go play their old classes again, or the classes they already know, and that's fine. But think about if you played a class you didn't play before, or a faction you had really no understanding of because you never read any of those quests. I mean, shoot, you never even did them. Even on the Lion side, you never read those quests. So if you switch factions now, you're switching classes, you don't know anything about your rotation, you don't know anything about your spells, you don't know anything about the side of the content you're on. It's almost like a pure classic experience.
Yeah, that's the vanilla experience. Yeah.
I talk about this all the time. I'm like, if you played, say you played Horde all the time, like, and I only play these 3 classes, you owe it to yourself. Like Melderon and I did this long ago. So yeah, my first character was Alliance, but that was the only leveling experience as Alliance that I had. After that, I went Horde and never went back. I went and leveled as a dwarf and did all the Dunmoreau, the Lochmodan. I got to recreate that experience. That I got a little bit of the feeling that I got when I first started playing when I was 17 years old, and I got some of that back. And like man,
Right.
if you never role played before, if you never played as a healer, if you never played as a tank, if you never played as a horde or alliance, owe it to yourself, do it, because you will feel a little bit of that feeling that you got when you first started playing vanilla. It is like experiencing it again in a whole other way, and that's the great thing about vanilla WoW. It's like it's a gift that keeps on giving. It really is. You know, you can.
Yeah.
There's so many different things you could do. There's so much.
There is. I have two questions because I want to see if this is a brother thing or not. So Defcamp and I do two things. It's like two games we do. One of them is we'll walk around the real world and say, "Oh, that guy plays Warcraft," or that guy plays Warcraft.
Yeah.
And the other thing we do is we make weird Warcraft references for real life things. I'm
Yeah, all the
I'm
time.
trying to think of an example. I don't know. We should be like, like I'm feeling sick today, and then my brother's like, I'll just cast Rejuvenation rank 7 on you. Or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys do that or anything.
Yeah.
But we,
Well,
I don't know if that's-
I think when we first sent our first email out to you, I think we had a picture attached of like me, and I was like this, and I was making the O.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow thing. So we're like in the middle of high school there. That's like in the middle of our high school.
Yeah.
So we're being nerdy. But on top of that, like, and then also there was that thing they photographed of like his best friend looting him, his dead body.
Oh yeah, I saw that picture. It was great.
Yeah. So
It was
we
great.
could do stuff like if I saw Chris, he's on our classmate, of course. Like if I saw him walking around, I would just stealth up behind me on it.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, what are you doing? And like, he's like, "Ugh."
You know, that's when I'm out with paladins, and then that's when I like cast my divine shield.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Okay, so yeah, it's not just me.
The undead priest thing, like and
Yeah.
he heals because
I'm gonna put that picture in Discord real quick so Def can see it.
Oh, no.
It's great.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
That is so
Raptor
good.
drops.
Oh yeah, of course the raptor drops, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my not necessarily must-have goals, but hit the tiger or the raptor is.
Oh dude.
Those are just so awesome to have.
I want the tiger. Being a horde player, of course, I want the tiger so bad because I love tiger mounts. I do. That's my first mount, obviously, as a night elf. I want the tiger mount so bad.
And then also Genrock, Destroyer of Worlds. That I thought that was like the coolest sword ever.
It is
So, like,
amazing.
to be running around that thing would be pretty amazing too.
It is so cool looking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
We also had some other moments like my older brother. He was always into web development. I think that's when he went to school for. I'm pretty sure is what he graduated for. So he always was making websites. And one website he just like kind of was messing around with. It was called WowPickupLines.com, and it was just like me and my brother would sit there and brainstorm like, what are all these pickup lines we could use? And it'd be like, oh, I popped bloodlust in bed or something like that. Just
Yeah.
completely like.
Yeah.
And then what are you saying? You only last 30 seconds, like. Just funny stuff like that.
Increases your haste in bed. That would be
Yeah.
Just ridiculous pickup lines. The most ridiculous pickup lines you can. Can you remember any?
I'm having a hard time remembering them, but
But,
there are some ridiculous ones out there.
Yeah, what's the drop rate on your, you'll definitely stuff like that.
Yeah, I've heard of a couple of ones. I can't remember.
Yeah. So
You-
we definitely did some of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's funny that you were saying about the rejuvenation thing.
Yeah, we would always say
Yeah.
things like, or I remember we had a house together once, and the backyard was like so overgrown, like we needed to, and I was like, oh, it's like wild growth rank 5 out there, just like we would always say stuff like that, and like, and my other roommate was like, what the hell are you guys talking about? And we're like,
Yeah.
oh, never mind.
Oh,
You're not gonna get
we
it.
do it all the time. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really.
I remember when I lived in Virginia and I worked out a long time ago. There was this lake we could run around. It was called Burke Lake, and at some points in the lake, you were running through like the canopies in the forest, and then another part of the lake, it was kind of like this barren stretch. And I remember I had my iPod at the time queued for in my 1.5, 2 mile pace. For when I was running through the forest, it'd be like the Ashen Bell. And then when I got to the play part, I'd be like, all right, that's on cue with the Q Barons, and I'd be like, all right, I'm good. I'm running through the Barons. So I did some nerdy stuff like that too. Put the WoW soundtrack, which is a masterpiece.
Oh my
it
god,
is.
yeah.
It is so amazing. Yeah, if you guys ever get a chance to check out Chimley, who is yeah, he does some amazing work with the music from WoW. So good. But yeah,
That's really
I
awesome.
mean,
So yeah, the brotherly thing is just it's such a unique experience because
it really is.
you know, of course you have friends that you have, and but it's just something about playing with your brother. I can't explain it. It's kind of like he's your friend, but at the same time he's like your family member, and you know each other at a certain level, so you can have these like weird fights, right? Or weird interactions where as a friend you're really not going to be like, hey dude, that's my loot, you know what I mean? Whereas like in a brother you're like, dude, that's supposed to be my tag or whatever, stuff like that, where I feel like you don't really get with a friend because it's like you kind of don't have that weird interaction with friends, but that's really funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah, but I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Oh,
Shoot.
that's okay. No,
That's all right.
we'll just riff. It'll come back to you. It'll come back to you.
It'll come back.
So what classes are you guys gonna play in Come Classic?
So we're definitely back in vanilla. We did Rogue Paladin, and that was our thing. So
Nice.
I'm definitely gonna play Paladin, and I think he's gonna play Rogue.
Yeah.
Nice. Great classes.
As we were talking about earlier, we really want to get into the role playing, and sometimes it's nice to have separate characters where, like, on one character, we're only going to play with each other on those characters, so we can get into the quests and not have to worry about rushing through, keeping up with each other's level. And then other than having like our Rogue and Paladin, we want to have separate characters.
Yeah.
Not as sure. I might do a druid because I think that would be a lot of fun. I know they feel like they're pretty complex, and that'd be a good way to really dive into that as well.
I just remembered what I was going to say.
Sure.
It was off of your point, Melderon, what you were talking about with the unique experience as the brothers. There's just something you don't get. So I think one interesting parallel just to recognize or draw is we played this game so much growing up together that not only did we grow up as siblings in the real world together, we grew up in World of Warcraft. And then think about how your lives diverge as you get older. You move out away from each other, you move out away from mom and dad, you start to develop your own relationships with your other people, you have your own life, but you're still playing this game that you grew up with and you love. And now, I mean, how many people, say, oh, I want to relive my childhood? You can't do it though. But guess what? Now that Vanilla WoW's back, Chris and I, we grew up playing Vanilla WoW, man. We get to play Vanilla WoW again together. We get to grow up. We get to relive our childhood together again.
I know, man.
So that's like just something really awesome that as brothers, and I'm sure as like friends can even relate to. But like we literally get to relive a lot of our childhood together.
And that's an aspect that I think Blizzard is underappreciating because people, or I think everyone does, because everyone says, "Oh, it's nostalgia," right? Which we of course know it's not because private servers wouldn't exist if it was just nostalgia. So, but at the same time, I think you have a good point. It's not just nostalgia; it's about recapitulating or trying to re-experience the being a child again. Because for everyone who's coming back to Classic WoW was younger when they played it before. I don't care how younger you were, but you were younger, right? So
even if you were 30, it's still it's still re-experiencing some of that. And like I love what you said about the because there was a time where I was living in North Carolina, Melderon was living in Kansas. And I would see him maybe twice a year, but we could log on to WoW and play together and feel like when we were living in the basement of a mom's house with our computers next to each other, playing when I was 17. And it was so amazing. Like WoW has, otherwise, like we might have talked maybe a couple times a week, or like I'm not that big at calling people on the phone and all that. But every night we could log on to WoW and play and talk about how was your day, this and that, and like have that experience. And it really kept us together when otherwise we wouldn't have really talked as much, like WoW really helped us stay together, and it's just one of those things that like we have a lot of the same passions, a lot of the things we love, a lot of the same stuff, whether it's fantasy, whether it's sci-fi, like Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, but WoW for us has been just such such a like glue that has binding us together.
Yeah.
And it really just cemented like the relationship that we already have, which is, not only my brother, he's my best friend. You know what I mean? Like it's really cemented that even more. So I mean, like what other game can do that? It's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, and my older brother doesn't play World of Warcraft as much as my brother and I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I love my older brother, but I would have to say that Chris and I have a lot closer, or definitely different dynamic of a relationship, and I would 100% reinforce that it's due to playing video games and World of Warcraft specifically together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're all about the same age, but it's just that fact that Chris and I have been playing World of Warcraft for a lot longer together. We just know each other a little bit better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And it's funny because like all the friends I have that either friend or brother, like my Tea Time who was in a previous episode, and my brother Matt and Defcamp, there's a connection with that person that goes beyond what you can. And it's like, oh, we're best friends or we're brothers, but we also played WoW together. Oh, you played WoW? Okay, and you just have this like connection with that person even more. Because they get it. They get it. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's another layer of connection with another person, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. An example of that, kind of just a funny example, but it's true to the core. When I was the guild master of this guild named Varsity in high school, I had a girlfriend at the time, and her name was Jaffney. That was her Death Knight name.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a great relationship, but we also, in our relationship in WoW, I mean, talk about trust. We would accept the duel to each other, and like I would run and jump off the cliff, and I would trust her to death grip me back up from the edge as I was falling. And it's just funny because like I'll only ever have that experience in like that relationship and that kind of trust like with Jack.
Wow, that's cool.
Because like I trusted her to death grip me before I hit the ground, like as we were dueling. It's just so random but so funny and so meaningful. Like, I've played so much more with Chris, so like I trust him on so many weird things. We communicate on so many weird things because of those weird experiences like that. And wow, just adding up and compiling.
That's awesome. That's
a
so
cool.
Cool.
I like that. That's interesting. I never actually thought about that. About death gripping someone before they come off a cliff. I'm sure it's happened before, but I just never really thought about that. That's interesting.
Added life grip, and now you can do it.
With priests.
I was say a life grip. I used to mess with people with life grip all the time.
The people, let's face it, they don't do that in a nice way. They stand on the edge and then death or life grip you while you're walking.
Oh yeah, I've had that done to me sometimes, but I love if like there's like a mate like standing in the spot where he shouldn't be, it's like sitting in the fire and just death grip him out of it, life grip him out of it. Like, what are you doing? Just get out of there.
Yeah. That's really funny. All right, so we're going to transition. We have something really special for the viewers.
Yes.
So we have a short story that, Jeff, did you write it, or both of you?
I did the majority of the writing, and then my brother went and did a lot of the editing.
Okay, nice. So before you go into it, can you just give us a brief introduction, perhaps?
Yeah, so talking about how I wanted to start a journal with my leveling experiences. I used to do like a guild newspaper for my old guild where they're like, oh, this week in Varsity we downed blah 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 and blah blah blah.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I tried to get like really crafty and creative, and it's a little bit dramatized. It doesn't exactly adhere to everything classic WoW, or it's not like there's some stuff that happens that's a little bit, you have to use your imagination, have a little fun with the fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I wrote a story that is called Brother's Fate. It's basically a story chronicling two brothers, obviously myself, Daryl, and Alandros in the story, and then you two, Melderon, obviously, and Defcamp.
Oh, awesome.
It's going to be a story about how we grow up, how we grow as brothers, and then a fateful day. I think the story will explain itself, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
I can't wait.
I'm ready. Let's do it. Yeah.
In the Stormwind Keep's infirmary, Brenda Merrill, an exalted baker, gave birth to a baby boy named Gerald. Just 1 year later, Brenda gave birth to another son, Delandros. Gerald and Delandros were the sons of an esteemed military commander. Commander Merrill of the Naval Division. The brothers grew up knowing well that honor, glory, valor, and war would be in their futures. At the same time, yet on the other side of Azeroth, two brothers of the mighty Horde were born, Melderon, an orc that was seemingly born of the elements, and Defcamp, son of the village medicine man of Sen'jin. Although they were not brothers of the same mothers, fate would forge a bond between the two stronger than any conventional kinship. When Gerald turned 7, he joined the Storm 1 SI-7 division under General Mathis Shaw. There, Gerald would learn and eventually master the art of deceit, stealth, and indubitably remorseless dispatch. Gerald's younger brother Belandros followed a much different path. Belandros pledged his life to the Order of the Silver Hand, a following of pious crusaders that devoted their lives to serving the light. Belandros swore upon Uther's grave to uphold integrity, honor, and most importantly, abolishing Azeroth of any and all evil. Defcamp followed in his father's footsteps. He practiced the healing ways. Defcamp, by the age of 12, was already the village's most promised healer. Defcamp used the light to heal his people from the shadowy curses that plagued the nearby Echo Isles. One day, Defcamp was tasked to investigate the root of the evil on the Isles. Defcamp soon found himself in a grave battle against a powerful witch doctor named Zalazane. Zalazane was a skilled hexer. Defcamp was not only outmatched, but outnumbered too. Zalazane had a cultless group of zombie trolls that acted as his enforcers. The zombies carried large axes and were scattered across the ancient ruin on the islands. Defcamp thought he could defeat Zalazane in a spell-weaving battle, but the zombies were linked to the Hexer and Death. Before Defcamp could even cast a spell, the voodoo magic had already inflicted him. Defcamp went to call upon the light to shackle and smite his enemies, but when Defcamp spoke, his incantations, his tongue was numb. His mouth would move, but nothing would happen. The enforcers, meanwhile, began to pummel Defcamp. He tried to run away, but some of the blows were concussive. Defcamp was frantic. He let out a desperate prayer. It wasn't enough. He reached into his medicine pouch, pulled out a vial of red salve, and chugged it in a panic. Just as Defcamp was about to lose Zalazane and his followers, there was one more surprise. A full-grown tiger leapt out from the brush, fangs flaring and claws extended. This was the end, Defcamp thought. Gerald and Delandros continued their training. Despite their different callings, the two brothers' missions and quests always seemed to coincide. The brothers triumphed in their tasks, aiding farmers and local defense in the nearby Elderland Forest and prairies of Westfall, defeating the conspiring Defias Brotherhood, solving the mysteries of Duskwood, and ridding the plague that haunted Raven Hill. The combination of shadow and light, synergizing with their brotherly instincts, was formidable. It seemed Belandros and Gerald had no match. The brothers pressed on in their adventures, leading them to a place where their strength and cunning would be indeed tested, a place where the worst enemy was the jungle itself, a place known as Stranglethorn Vale. Just as the tiger was about to sink its fangs into Defcamp, a column of wood erupted from the earth. The feral tiger smashed into the post. The tiger scratched and clawed at the post. Another column of wood sprung up from the foliage closer to Defcamp. Defcamp recognized it now. It was a totem. The totem began to emit a stream of healing energy that flowed in and around Defcamp, replenishing his strength. Zalazane and his followers caught up at this point and went to finish off the wounded troll, but they were met by a flurry of lightning bolts, followed by a massive wave of fire that scorched the earth. The zombies were engulfed, and Zalazane began to flee in terror. Defcamp gathered his remaining strength and called down a beam of holy fire that finished off Zalazane. Defcamp looked over to meet his faithful rescuer. His name was Melderon, and he was a great shaman. Melderon and Defcamp returned to the village people with the head of the Hexer. Sen'jin Village was now free of nightmares and horrors of the neighboring Echo Isles. Melderon and Defcamp were sung heroes. Tales would be told of their feats in the village for years to come. Defcamp owed Melderon his life. And for that, a pact was made, sealed in blood. They were now brothers. The two left the village in search of greater glory. Together, they would cut back the thorny invasion of quillboars in the northern barrens. They would journey deep within the Willing Caverns and rid the tainted druids that corrupted the sacred dwelling. They ventured to Stone Talent Mountain, where they would help the Torrens reclaim their ancestral lands. Eventually, their journeys would lead them to a place where the elements were primal, a place where the light even had trouble reaching through the dense canopy, a place all adventurers feared and respected, a place known as STV. Merrill and Delandros didn't want to admit it, but they were lost. They were trying to find Shadow Maw panthers. The dwarf that had sent them on the quest had told the beast prowled somewhere in the middle of the merciless jungle. The detailed notes were very vague, and the only option was exploration. To top it all off, the panthers were the most elusive, and only revealed themselves when attacking. Defcamp and Melderon were also lost, looking for the same lurking panthers somewhere in the dense overgrowth. Merrill decided he would stealth around a bit and see if he would use his perception to track any of the beasts. What Gerald found wasn't tracks of a beast, but instead, strange humanoid tracks he did not recognize. Gerald followed the trail, and to his surprise, he stumbled upon two members of the horde. Gerald observed the Trollinor. They were obviously lost too. Perhaps they were also working for the dwarf in search of these alleged panthers that didn't seem to exist. Gerald turned back to report his findings to Delandros, but as he did, he stepped on a twig that snapped. Defcamp and Melderon looked in the direction of the disturbance and then back at each other. They knew immediately they were not alone in the jungle anymore. Melderon had been leaving totems as he blazed the trail through the heart of Stragglethorn Vale. The totems were special. They could relay their surroundings back to Melderon when he linked his minds to the totem. Sure enough, Melderon communed with his totems, and sure enough, what he discovered was two Alliance members. They seemed to be plotting something. Knowing an attack was imminent, the brothers began to prepare for glorious combat. They had been waiting for this moment their whole lives. The moment in which they spilled the blood of the enemy in the name of their faction. Gerald reached into his little red pouch and pulled out a vial of green substance. He carefully coated his daggers with the diabolical mess. Delandros hated the stench of such a deadly brew, but he knew it was an extremely effective concoction. While Gerald finished playing with his reagents, Delandros prepared for battle in another fashion. Delandros removed some of the cloth from his satchel. He then unraveled the cloth to reveal sacred runes, each blessed by the light. Delandros could transfer the rune's blessing to a vessel of his choosing. Delandros did first to himself, and then to his brother. Gerald glowed in his brother's blessings. He secretly loved the warm feeling that bathed over him. The blessings made Gerald feel mighty, like a king. Delandros, even though he was a younger of the brothers, he was the protector. Delandros had this aura about him in his shiny plate mail armor. Melderon severed his link with his totems. Defcamp and Melderon performed their own pre-battle rituals as well. Defcamp focused his energy inwards until he could feel the light begin to kindle inside him like a fire. Defcamp also prayed to the light for protection. His prayers were answered with fortitude. Defcamp reached into his trusty medicine pouch and pulled out the good stuff. A couple of Exlers glowed in his hands. He gave one to his brother and slammed the other. Melderon kneeled down close to the earth. He placed his hand on the ground and then grasped the terrain. The earth beneath him seemed to gravitate to the shaman. The rock surrounded him like a shield. Melderon then stood up and yelled, outreached his arms to the heavens above. Seconds later, lightning crashed down around the shaman, fusing with the rocks and revolving around him, creating a force field of electricity. Melderon swelled with power. Melderon made A couple last prayers, one to the Fire Lord to lend him his fury, and one to the winds for guidance. Now attuned, 4 totems shot up from around the shaman, and Melderon sat down in a meditative state. Defcamp saw a rare bloom and wandered over to harvest. He just couldn't resist it. Just as he was about to pluck the flower, he heard a thud. Melderon's meditation instantly broke, sensing a disturbance. He turned and saw his brother incapacitated. Gerald went to get a cheap shot in on Melderon. To his surprise, the orc Melderon instinctively shifted into Spirit Wolf, breaking free of the stun. Delandros came charging in on his horse, jumped off his steed, swinging his hammer of justice. Melderon was stunned this time. Gerald began to slice and dice away at Melderon, but the stone shield and electric discharges made landing any crucial blows almost impossible. Delandros' strikes were slow but effective. They finally cracked the stony carapace and shattered his protective barrier. Gerald found an opening and took a shot at the orc's kidneys. But the orc's skin was tough. He didn't even flinch. Still, Melderon was in grave danger. Poisons now started to course through his veins, crippling him and keeping him from fleeing. Defcamp finally awoke, dazed and confused, only to be met by Gerald sprinting over and tossing blinding power in his face, disorienting the troll once again. Melderon's situation was even more dire. Delandros was merciless. He brought the judgment hammer down on the orc hard. Melderon was desperate. He called out one last time for the elements for help. They answered. 2 giant amalgamations materialized, unleashing their fury on the humans. But it was too late. Melderon was in critical condition, and using the last bit of his mana, Delandros hurled the wrathful hammer into the orc's chest, bringing him down to the ground. Melderon's elementals vanished as quickly as they had appeared. Defcamp heard his brother's last desperate call, but it was too late. The troll broke into a berserker rage. His veins pumped full of adrenaline, and his eyes eclipsed in crimson red. Gerald and Delandros raced over to the troll before he could unleash his fury, but just as they got enraged, Defcamp exploded with volatile void energies. The enraged troll let out a harrowing scream that sent the humans fleeing in fear. Defcamp was swirling with dark energy. Now he began to flay the souls of Gerald and Delandros, blasting their minds with horrific visages, casting them into oblivion. The tables had turned. Now the 2 brothers were the 2 brothers that were once unstoppable were the ones about to meet their demise. Delandros was and Gerald was lacking the energy to fight back. The rogue vanished behind a tree and sprinted off into the jungle. Delandros charged back in to finish the fight, knowing he would die trying. Just as Delandros was making ground on Defcamp, he was struck by an intense source of cold. It slowed him to his core. Delandros turned to see Melderon, alive and well, out of nowhere. Delandros stood still and exclaimed, "By the light!" Defcamp and Melderon continued to berate the paladin with spells, but oddly, their spells had no effect. Delandros was laughing now. A bubble of pure divine energy enveloped the paladin. Delandros' hand began to glow a faint green for a few seconds, and then, poof, the paladin vanished into thin air. Defcamp and Melderon searched for Gerald and the Panthers. They never did find them. The 2 brothers sat down at the campfire and laughed hysterically. Defcamp cackled, "I thought you were dead, brother." Melderon laughed back in reply, "I was dead." They both laughed some more, rejoicing in their victory, knowing in their hearts they won the battle for the Horde. A few days later, both the brothers were resting in the nearby trading city of Booty Bay. Gerald and Melderon were browsing the auctions. Gerald noticed the orc and gave him a slash poke. Melderon knew better than to start a fight there. He laughed at Gerald and clucked around like a chicken. Defcamp and the Landros coincidentally were on the northern bay of the cove fishing. The two brothers were far enough away from the guards to start something, but they didn't. They chose to keep fishing. They chose to keep on on and grinding, baby.
Oh man, that was so good, guys.
That was fucking amazing.
That was so good.
Seriously, holy shit!
I just want to say how honored I am that you guys did that. That was
seriously. Yeah. You had me on the edge of my seat when you were giving the introduction and saying like that. I was getting teary eyed at one point when you said like how Defcamp owed Melderon his life and all this. Like, oh my god, yeah, dude, it was. Oh my god, man, that was amazing. You guys need to do this. And like, you did a channel and had like machinima and I mean, your writing is amazing. And I mean, Chris, you edited it too. Like, you guys did an amazing job. And the picture cards, everything, like, they helped so much. It was almost like watching. Like, I was envisioning it so much with the cards and everything. It was, I can't even speak. It was
great
amazing,
job.
guys.
Absolutely great job. But I think you found your niche. If you're looking to make content, I think you found your niche. If you're able to one person kind of make the graphics, even using the trading card game or using another person reading the story, I mean, that's it. I'd watch every single video you guys put up.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was so good. I love the bubble earth. And
it was so good.
Obviously, right? So if you have so many people, how does Melderon come back to life?
I have to give you your like moment of just pure glory.
Dude, I love. Oh my god!
I'm pooping on you like most of the time, making you a weak younger brother. But then I felt really do justice with like the berserker rage and like the void energy and just like.
And that's exactly like my play style too. Like I like to I play primarily holy, but I level a shadow usually. And like I love the idea of like the priest who like kind of like turns his like gets this rage and just says screw the light and just kind of says like, oh, I'm going to use the shadow, this powerful like dark like thing that I shouldn't really deal with, but he was so enraged that he just used the power that he could get. And it was like, it really felt like I was Defcamp, like doing that. You know what I mean? It was amazing.
And I have to say that Defcamp usually plays undead, but I think the troll. I don't know. I really dug the troll, man.
Well, I like because that way we could move together. Yeah,
exactly. I was just like, there's no way that I can get a shaman and then the undead like in a story to be brother. Like, it would have just been kind of weird and like felt too forced.
No, I agree, but I also think that I saw a side of I think that would be a really cool way to play priest, man. I don't know why.
Like, yeah, I really
I think it kind of jived with his personality. It was really like
absolutely.
Yeah, like that picture's badass right there. Yeah,
I love trolls as well too. I really do it, and that's the thing. I feel like because like you said, like he was there in Senjin, and I love that. I love the quest.
You guys remember that quest?
Yeah,
absolutely. As Alzane's head.
Yeah. He is a pain in the ass.
Little altar right there.
Yep.
It's tough, and all the mobs around him, chain pull. Yeah. It's tough.
I remember like exactly that, like pulling him, the thing's chain pull, and I remember a fucking tiger popping out, and he's like,
That's amazing.
My potion's like, I'm screwed.
And that's so cool too. Is like I got this such to feel that like this is something that definitely could have happened in the game. You know what I mean? Like, it was exactly like all of the abilities were abilities that was used in the game, and like it was perfect, man. I was like
fun to like narrate that and like play on the words to make a spell sound just how you sound just like it, or like his blessings made me feel mighty like a king.
Exactly.
These little things you can play on the words and like deadly brew and like.
And how the paladin looked like, oh, was this like nasty poison? You know what I mean? I love that too.
Yeah, and I can literally make a story like that from leveling from 1 to 3 in Northshire Abbey, and I can make it epic. It might not be that epic in game, but I can make a battle between me and a boar real epic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like. So if I can just do that with literally my entire experience from 1 to 60 and put it in this awesome journal and then like have someone read it, this like dusted off poem, like in Grandpa's basement one year, and be like, damn, you know, Grandpa went into molten core and he fought whack fireboard.
That's so
Grandpa
cool,
was
man.
awesome.
Yeah. Grandpa was badass, man. Oh,
That was
guys.
great, guys. That was really good. That's very unique. I mean, we've had John Stats, we've had content creators on, but we've never had anything like that. That was
this was one of the most memorable moments we've had on DefTalk, without a doubt. Thank you guys so much. This was
Thank you.
amazing. I can't even words can't describe the amount of just awesomeness
energy that went into
was.
it. Yeah, and I know this took time, and I really appreciate it. So, and it really made us. It makes us feel great when we see we can touch people in that way and make them kind of want to do stuff like that. So
I think you guys tend to, like Chris was saying, I can tell the passion you guys put into this, and all the imagery you had set up, it was perfect. It really gave me the idea and made me feel where I was, and just seeing the troll and seeing the buffs and the totems and things like that. I really think you guys could do something here. Whether it's machinima, whether it's just storytelling. If that's what you guys want to do, or what I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, we kind of have some ideas floating around, but we haven't really hammered anything into the ground yet. But definitely, you guys are a big inspiration to us, and maybe it will lead us to get into content creation. And definitely the classic WoW community is a great place to get into that, because that's
hell yeah, dude.
And having all those TCG cards laying in the background.
Yeah.
We couldn't not use them, and
that's awesome.
And the artwork on those cards are so good.
Yeah, they really are. Oh, who is that?
Oh, hi.
Who is that?
Is that your, I'm assuming that's your daughter. What's her name?
Yeah. Hey, don't pick your nose. Millions of viewers.
Hi, sweetie.
What's her name? Her name's Okay. Oh my gosh, this is perfect.
Her name's Okay? Sorry.
Yeah. No, so her name's Olivia.
Uh-huh.
Her middle name's Opal.
Oh.
And her last name's Merrill. So can you tell me what her initials are? Silent Victory Win.
Oh my god. She's That is
amazing.
Great. She's
gonna grow up and be the best WoW player ever. Having an uncle and a dad who are both WoW players. Well, two uncles and a dad. That's WoW players. Wow. Olivia,
you tries to go for the 20-sided dice, and she's like, "Ooh."
Olivia, play a priest.
Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna rank 14 then. No, she's sweet.
I gotta say,
very nice.
You guys, the energy and the passion that you guys have this game is inspiring. It really is. It really is. And I can't thank you guys enough for coming out today and spending your time with us, coming on the show, and just having a friggin' blast, because this was so much fun. And having another pair of brothers on, I mean, it's so cool to there is something about being brothers and playing WoW that I feel just has this whole other aspect to it. And I'm sure people have other experiences playing with their friends, maybe playing with their sister or playing with their parents, but the experience that I've had playing with my brother has been amazing, and I'm so glad you guys were able to come on the show and had similar experiences. And damn, this was awesome. It really was.
Yeah, we had so much fun. Sorry about all that.
That shit was great. It was great having her on. Yeah.
She was like,
"What are you guys doing?"
We've broken another record. We have a I'm assuming she's probably 2-3 years old toddler on DefTalk.
Yeah.
We can cross it off the list.
Yeah, right. Yeah, John Stats.
You guys were saying maybe I could kind of mix in some machinima or something in with that. I know I was kind of talking with Melderon. I really do want to be part of the content creation and classic WoW community. I just have no video editing skills, or I don't have a name on YouTube, or I haven't even established that. I just still have my email, first and last name kind of thing, and it's I'd have to create that, and then I feel I'd have to really get into how I would edit those videos and do that stuff. And I know hopefully I could ask you guys maybe for some
absolutely
insight
absolutely.
We would definitely love to help you guys with that. The other really cool thing is we're part of this community called Classic WoW Live. That's kind of a haven for content creators, and we've really been able to. Some people excel at some things, and some people, like myself, I lack in some things, and we've really had this place where all those content creators can come together and help each other. And it really has made our content so much better. So that would be something you guys would be interested in. Let us know, or just helping. We would love to lend you guys a hand, show you what we do, because I really feel like you two together could make some amazing content. I really
agree. And all you gotta do is first step. Yeah. The first step, all you gotta do is get a account, get a name, and then and just let me know if you want to get invited to the ClassicWoW.live Discord. And that goes for anybody who wants to content create. Because what we do is we sit around and we talk. We spread around ideas. Every Tuesday we have a content meeting, and we just literally say, what can we do? How can we make it better? What are you working on? What am I working on? That's what we do every Tuesday. So,
and it's been amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. So before we say goodbye, I just want to say, if you're listening on a podcast, if you're listening on Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, if you're listening on any of those things, we also have a YouTube channel. And for this specifically episode, you definitely want to tune into the YouTube, because the Merrill brothers have created a story with flashcards, basically, with the trading card game, so you can actually look at the pictures while they tell the story. We are on Twitter, we're on Discord, ClassicWoW.live. If you want to be on DefTalk, how the Merrill brothers got in touch with us, melderon.gaming@gmail.com. We don't care who you are. You don't have to be a content creator. You can be on DefTalk. We have a little bit of a waiting list right now, but we're chipping away at that as fast as we can. So if you want to be on DefTalk, just let us know.
Absolutely. And guys, again, I really, really, really can't thank you guys enough for coming on the show, sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. It really has. And I want to say, guys, if you guys start making content, let us know. We will start, putting your stuff out there, because I really believe in you guys. You got some amazing, amazing talent, the both of you.
Thanks.
And just thank you for sharing your stories and telling the show, guys. Really.
I noted in here, I'm just not reading. So how cool would it be if we just happen to end up on the same server or alliance you can board, and
and this actually happens?
Actually plays out. So, there will be no bubble or thing, or I can't promise it won't vanish. We probably have to vanish.
Alliance will probably wait until one of you goes AFK for a second.
I will definitely onk, though. Definitely, I'll be the one onking, and Matt will be saving me. That's usually how.
We all know Alliance can't play fair, right?
We can't.
That's great.
Yeah,
I would love to recreate that, guys. I really would. But oh man, again, guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, guys. Until next time, guys. This is Defcamp.
This is Melderon, and
keep on and grinding.
That's right. Thanks, guys.
That's right.
Thanks, guys.
Jeff and Chris, and we're the Merrill brothers.
Yeah, the Merrill brothers. They are excellent. Keep an eye out for them. Take it
all
easy,
right, guys.
everyone.
Go ahead. Say it now. Say it now.
Keep on and grinding.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Peace, guys.
Peace.
Cool.